second to last session, which is the much anticipated. This is a session where you'll see people networking, but then they'll come back and fill every seat in the room. This is a view from the street that Pravin has been doing for several years now, I think. And you have invited Anupam Dalal, Rael Mazansky, Annabelle Samimi, and Cam Taylor. You know, I listened to some of your previous sessions, especially from OIS Retina, Pravin, and you know, you're all eager to hear what the theme is going to be this year as you kind of wrap up 2023, and then a little peek into what should we expect from 2024.
Yeah, all great questions. Look, I've been thinking about this a lot, and given the situation that I was in, that I am in right now, in terms of what we went through, I think there's a very clear theme that emerges. If you talk to most people, they will look at this and they'll say, look at the XBI, which is really the index that we use to look at biotech. It's hit historic lows. It's brutal out there. It's just terrible. And look at all these companies that have failed. I don't see it quite that way. I mean, it's inarguable that the XBI is down. It's inarguable there are a lot of companies that might not have done well. But what is really interesting is that if you look at the deals that are done, the number have gone down, but the value hasn't gone down. Actually, the value has increased in large deals by anywhere from 60 to 100%. And if you look at the people doing the deal, that's large pharma, there's a huge need for them to do deals because their revenue streams are being greatly hit. They're falling off a cliff, and they have a huge amount of cash on hand, which the macroeconomics like interest rates and so on and so forth have really not affected. I mean, the cash on hand is up to about $500 billion they have to spend. So it's not that everything is doom and gloom. It really is, and I really believe what's happening is that we're seeing the beginning of a change and shift in terms of how companies are evaluated, how they're valued. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner a company is able to take that as a strategic opportunity, the more likely the company is to succeed. So my message in my talk is going to be exactly that, which is that this is a change. It's not doom and gloom, but it's actually a change. And with change comes a great deal of opportunity. And now more than ever, one really has to recognize that opportunity. If you're able to do that, then there's a great amount of room for success. And I think that theme, with a lot of case studies, with a lot of hard data, is going to be then carried on to my panel discussion as well. To give you a little smile, I'll tell you the analogy that I draw. So there are not a whole bunch of things I know about. Some would argue I don't know anything about biotech, but one thing that I do know about is I know about wines. And it's and I'm a big fan of wines, and I go to the old country a lot. I go to Bordeaux a lot. And one of the things that you see, for instance, more than in any other field, is the influence of climate change on wines. And the analogy that I have is, if you're a farmer that is planting a vineyard in Bordeaux, or anywhere else in the world for that matter, and climate change is coming, you can only go around so many times from plot to plot saying, oh, I hope this is cooler, I hope this is a little bit shadier, and so on and so forth. At a certain point, the winner is going to be the one that's going to learn to deal with climate change in a much more permanent way, maybe by changing the grape varietals, maybe by changing the maceration process, so on and so forth. And that's really the whole idea, is that this is really a great change that we're seeing in the strategic landscape, and the sooner we're able to adapt, the better opportunity we're going to have.
Well, that's a fantastic theme, Pravin, and we're looking forward to this session. Like I said, it's one everyone looks forward to, and it kind of ties in nicely because Maureen put reverse pitch after your session from from the strategics. So I think your theme is going to be well embraced, and looking forward to seeing you. And I think, maybe you could open your session with kind of giving us an update on what you're up to these days, because I think that's on everyone's mind, what you're up to these days. You seem like someone who doesn't sit still, so we're all eager to learn what your next adventure is, whether it's, growing your own vineyard. I don't know if that's in the plans, but
You know what? I guess I gotta have something I'm obsessed with, and at this point, maybe that may be it. I'm not sure, but quite honestly, this is my second exit in the last 3.5 years, and after my first exit, which is when I sold the practice and the businesses around the practice, the best advice that was given to me was, make a commitment not to do anything for at least a year. And that was given to by friends and mentors that I obviously admire a lot. I didn't follow it. The very next day, after it was sold, or probably soon after I joined Iveric Bio, this time I'm really determined to take that advice. So the bottom line is I'm spending an enormous amount of time, all my time, with my family, with a lot of friends, and talking to a lot of people. People call me about opportunities all the time. And it's great to talk to friends that I haven't spoken to for so many years and see what they're doing. I'm always astonished at the amount of innovation that goes on in our field, and how quickly our field is moving. But the answer is, as of now, I'm delighted to grow old and mushy, and then spend time with my daughters and my wife, and that's all I'm doing.
I think I can speak on behalf of OIS. Thanks for making time, and we're so eager to see your session.
Oh, thank you, Bindu. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for this. Look, I think that OIS is extremely special for many, many reasons. I always think of it as a community as opposed to just a meeting. Look, it's a standalone meeting, and that says something. It's not bolted into another meeting, so it's not like people are passing through or passing by. People go to this meeting because that's what they want to do, and that's the only thing they want to do, is to go to this meeting. They come specifically and especially for this meeting. So it's a different crowd that is totally dedicated, and that's why I'm absolutely delighted to be with my friends there. As you know, it's not just the talk; it's really the networking that's actually even more important. So I'm really looking forward to just reconnecting, meeting with people, and really learning a lot and having a great time.
You're certainly a staple in that networking, that community. And I think they've done over 1,000 presentations, I don't know, nearing 400 podcasts. I mean, this is a community that's been being built over the last almost over a decade now. So, here's to 10 more years. So thanks, Pravin.
Oh, absolutely. It's not me, it's really the community. And you're right. I mean, that's the key word here, is that this is really not a meeting, it's really a community. And I think that's the mantra here. And with the changes that we're seeing, with the fact that ophthalmology now is not just in the mainstream, but part of the mainstream, shaping the mainstream, and for good and bad, vulnerable and consequential to the entire macro trend. This network, this community is even more necessary and even more important than ever.
Absolutely.